What is up, YouTube? There is non-stop talk about artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Grok, Nvidia stock seemingly managing to go up like 5% every single day, it seems like. But regardless, I decided in this video, I wanted to put AI to the ultimate challenge and see if it can help me make money sports betting, because that's what we all care about. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I'm going to be using ChatGPT to place hundreds of bets, and we'll see if it makes money or if it doesn't make money. So a couple things I wanted to mention kind of at the start of this video is ChatGPT overall does provide really good sports betting advice. So for example, if you ask ChatGPT, hey, what are strategies that sharps, pro sports bettors use to make money? It provides pretty good advice. It talks about value betting, positive EV betting, finding value in the market. ChatGPT also talks about arbitrage betting, which arbitrage is a risk-free betting strategy. It's basically when two sports books have such different odds, you can play equal and opposite outcomes on two books to guarantee a profit. You're basically day trading inefficiencies on sports books. So ChatGPT does provide really good advice if you're just starting out sports betting with regards to strategies, bankroll management, stuff like that. However, where ChatGPT struggles is with real-time data. Like, they don't have real-time data. So I'll give you a simple example. Is this morning, I checked out the Rockies game. I hate the Rockies, to be completely honest. The Rockies have lost me $25,000 this year. They're the worst team in the MLB, like 29 in the 80s, something absolutely ridiculous. And I've been betting on them way too much this year. But regardless, I asked ChatGPT, what are the best odds for the Rockies against the Blue Jays? And ChatGPT told me plus 172. That's completely wrong. They're actually best offered at plus 180. So where ChatGPT really struggles is with real-time data. Their odds are typically that they're sourcing, right? Their price data is from articles. So it's not necessarily up to date. In other words, if you want to bet on the Chiefs game, and you ask ChatGPT the odds on the Chiefs game, and Patrick Mahomes gets injured, ChatGPT is going to take a while to update and figure out that, hey, Mahomes is injured, and update to reflect the proper odds on the Chiefs game now, whereas sportsbooks obviously are pretty close to instantaneous after a player gets injured. But without further ado, let's get into using ChatGPT to find some bets. And I do feel like ChatGPT has gotten more aggressive about gambling, because I remember when ChatGPT first launched, I would ask it, hey, give me bets for, the Commanders game. I'm from DC, I'm a big Commanders fan. I would say, hey, ChatGPT, give me bets for the Commanders game. ChatGPT wouldn't give me anything. It would be hard to get bets out of ChatGPT. Whereas now, it's pretty easy. They're literally recommending it. If I just look up a sports game, they're giving me recommended picks and stuff like that. So regardless, that definitely made the video easier. But without further ado, let's put ChatGPT to the challenge. Can it make us money sports betting? So let's get into how I found my bets, which is pretty simple, as well as how did I decide how to track them? What odds was I using? So let's get into it. Basically, it's baseball season, really simple. I asked ChatGPT for bets for each MLB game tonight, and then I tracked them. It's really that simple. What I also did, because I said this a little earlier, is ChatGPT doesn't always have the most up-to-date odds, especially for player props. Oftentimes they are super, super wrong. So I'll give you an example. Is ChatGPT told me, hey, bet Torres for the Tigers-Twins game, bet Torres to score a run at plus 125. Well, guess what? There is no plus 125. The best odds you can get on any sports book looking at OddsJam. OddsJam has real-time odds from 200 plus books. And currently the best price on Torres to score a run is plus 102. So that's what I ended up tracking, even though it was, pretty different than what ChatGPT was telling me I should be able to get, plus 125. That's not what you can get, so I'm tracking at plus 102. I'm taking the best available odds out of every sportsbook on OddsJam. Now, let's go through this Tigers-Twins game, because ChatGPT, honestly, they don't really make any sense. So what's a good example of the first thing I'm talking about is the first bet recommended is Carlos Correa to not get a hit. Well, guess what? Carlos Correa isn't on the Tigers and he's not on the Twins. He just got traded to the Astros. So again, this is kind of an example. So this bet, for example, I did not track. I didn't track it. If ChatGPT is giving me players on the wrong team, I'm not gonna track the bet. So Carlos Correa, I just kind of skipped it over because he got traded from the Twins to the Astros. Not really sure what ChatGPT is doing. What's another thing ChatGPT did wrong? It gave me a player prop on Tarik Skubal, but he's not pitching tonight. Tonight, Mize is on the mound, which is weird because ChatGPT gave me 2 bets for 2 different pitchers for the Tigers. So the Skubal play, he's not pitching tonight. I skipped it over, unsurprisingly. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention that I don't exactly love is ChatGPT is pulling a lot of these bets just from articles online, right? And we don't know if these people giving out bets online are credible or not credible. So I'll give you an example is ChatGPT recommended Mize over 4.5 strikeouts. And look who recommended the bet. ChatGPT is citing DraftKings DK experts as the source for the bet. Why would I want to take bets from somebody who works at DraftKings? DraftKings is a sports book. I'm trying to make money off DraftKings. DraftKings is trying to make money off me. So I definitely don't want to be taking sports betting advice from somebody who works at DraftKings Sportsbook. And I was actually able to go online and literally find the exact article, Even Money, where ChatGPT is pulling this data and this information from for their recommendation on Mize at plus 100. Regardless, I still tracked it. Unfortunately, you could no longer get plus 100. It was best available on minus 105. But regardless, this is kind of what I did, my process for finding and tracking all of these bets from artificial intelligence. So I will say, just based on the inaccuracy in the data, I'm not super bullish on ChatGPT's ability to make me money. I'll give you another example. It told me to bet the Padres at minus 165. When you can get the Padres at minus 125 on ESPN bet, like that's a pretty big difference. However, I'm still gonna put it to the test. I'm gonna take their predictions. Another thing that was a little strange to me is it seems like all of ChatGPT's predictions, again, they're just like reading in random articles and recommending the same picks in those articles, which obviously if some random guy who writes for CBS is saying to bet on Vlad Guerrero to hit a home run, that doesn't necessarily mean AI should be recommending that as the best home run bet. However, I did throw in a few parlays. One of them I actually bet, a little bit degenerate, but whatever. So for parlays, what I did is I found the best odds for each of the individual legs, and then I assumed you could get the best price on each one. So for example, sometimes FanDuel's offering the best odds for a player to hit a home run, sometimes it's DraftKings. I just assumed in the parlay odds calculation, you could get the best price, even if it were different sports books. Maybe Schwarber was best odds on FanDuel, another guy, Tatis, was best on DraftKings. I just assumed you could get the best possible odds. So I had parlays, I had straight bets, player props, mainline markets, like run lines and totals, stuff like that. And let's kind of get into the results. I'll show you how ChatGPT did. So for this video, I just placed 100 bets, $100 per bet, and I lost money. My net profit was negative $450 approximately. I'll include a sheet in the description that kind of shows every bet that ChatGPT recommended to me when I was making this video. Obviously, this isn't a massive sample size. I could have done this for thousands and thousands and thousands of bets, but obviously that gets kind of complicated. And if it wasn't clear, earlier in the video, I'm not a huge believer on ChatGPT right now for getting sports betting picks because ChatGPT doesn't even know the odds, right? Like ChatGPT doesn't even know the pitchers when players have been traded, it seems like. So it definitely right now is not a great source of bets. Obviously, AI is going to be the future of a lot of industries. I'm sure it will transform sports betting in many ways. But right now, do not get your sports picks from ChatGPT. That is my best piece of advice. But regardless, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know other content ideas. I love making sports betting content. So any other video ideas you have or questions you have, comment them below. And as always, thank you so much for your time.